What's up, everybody? It is your boy here, the Talking Fox. Today is a little bit something different. Don't expect me to continue playing Cult of the Lamb, which is the name of this game. I actually kind of just put it on so I could, chat about some things. Where have I been, what's been going on. Basically a little update with y'all to let you know what's been happening with me and why my uploads are so inconsistent, and why it is that I basically almost I'll upload, but then I'll take a couple months break. So before us stands the last of its kind. All others we have hunted down and put to the blade. So first thing I just want to get off my chest is I struggle with mental health. I that's not something I'm gonna hide from you guys. I'm not gonna not be transparent about. Just openly, I have complex PTSD and depression. I go to therapy for it, but sometimes I just kind of get in this rut where I kind of think that everything that I'm doing isn't really worth doing anymore. For example, YouTube. I was looking through my YouTube channel yesterday, and I realized the first video I published was in 2017, which is years ago. It's been almost 9 years now, going on 10 next year. And I question if what I'm doing is really worth it. That's just an example that I'm throwing out there. Secondly, so what happened with a lot of the games and why it is that I'll stop recording for a little bit is because what happens is my PC will sometimes crash mid-recording session, and I'll lose the footage. It'll get corrupted of the first half that I did of the game. For example, with Resident Evil 4, recently what happened was I was, recording, I think, part 10, part 14, something like that. I'm on chapter 14. But what happened was, when I was recording the first half of that opening act for the 14th chapter, my PC crashed, or my graphics card crashed, and that file got corrupted. So I actually had to reload back into a save file that was back in chapter 6, which is why I haven't been posting Resident Evil 4. I know Resident Evil 9 just came out, and I'm gonna play that maybe a couple weeks later though, because I did start working again, so I don't have the money to be buying games like that. That's number 2. So the same thing with COD. Well, it's not exactly the same thing. So with COD, Modern Warfare 2.09, what happened was I was recording it. I swapped out my 1TB SSD for a 2TB SSD, and I didn't, back up the save file on that game. So unfortunately, I had to start it all over, and that was something that I kind of postponed doing for a really long time. So when stuff like that happens, I tend to just kind of, stop posting and take a break and just kind of play the game by myself for a little bit. Thirdly, I've been watching a lot of Minecraft roleplays. I've been kind of nostalgic. I watched Minecraft roleplays when I was in high school. I watched namely Sam Gladiator, Yandere High Tokyo Soul. And I kind of want to do a Minecraft roleplay, as ridiculous as it sounds. A super niche content thing. I do in fact want to do that. I think that would be fun. I think it would be fun to do, because that is the kind of content that I enjoyed when I was a teenager. Some people still watch it to this day, and I don't want to just be stuck in one little, I don't want to be just known as the guy who plays games, or I don't want to be known as the guy who plays this specific game. I want to be known as, I like to play games, that's just something that I enjoy, in my off time. I'm actually on my second Cyberpunk playthrough. Lands of the Old Faith. My instructions are to lead you to safety, continue through the woods, escape lies ahead. I will be close by. And I want to circle back to my first point that I brought up about the mental health. I think it's really important that everybody should take care of it. Like I said, I go to therapy for it. You guys don't have to, but I do strongly recommend giving it a try. Somebody to talk to and get some of the weight off of your chest about what's bothering you. Because at the end of the day, you are a person and you do matter, and you are indeed cared for. So just keep that in mind, that you also are our priority. You don't really owe anybody anything. You're a human. That's basically my point. Back to another point that I had brought up about the YouTube thing. I don't know if it's just because my content isn't good, or if it's just because I am in a category that is highly competitive with gaming. You know, I do want to make a career out of this. It doesn't have to happen, and I'm not gonna manifest it into happening. But this is something that I've kind of enjoyed as a kid. So I hope that someday, maybe, eventually, I could get up there. Maybe. It doesn't have to happen, you know. I do kind of just enjoy recording whenever I feel like it, and not having to have a consistent upload schedule like a professional YouTuber. And I say professional YouTuber lightly. But still, I want to do something that I enjoy, and not feel like I have to do something I'm forced to. And that is also part of the reason why I lose motivation, is because, like I said, I've been posting since 2017. That's a really long time. That's more time than anybody else has given to anything. And you know, I feel like I haven't experienced any growth, any significant growth in my YouTube channel and my journey as a content creator. Granted, I'm a little inconsistent, and that is more on my fault than you guys or even the system's fault. That's just, I unfortunately just lose the motivation and just don't want to do it, so I'm not taking a break from the platform. I'm not stepping away or anything, because I want, this is something that I enjoy doing sometimes in my off time. So I hope that eventually I can get to where I want to get to, through grinding. I do have Wukong, I do have Black Myth up to the last part of the game, because I did finish that, and I'm actually on my second playthrough of that on New Game Plus. I'm already on chapter 4 with the webbed hollow, so I'm already almost halfway through the game again, or 75% way through the game. But I just have to edit them and upload. For Resident Evil specifically, I kind of like giving you guys dual uploads, like this part and then the following part right after. I say a lot at the end of the sentences. I apologize for that. But whenever I do that, I think I'm not necessarily building, but I like having consistent, a kind of consistent game. Here's two Resident Evil episodes, here's 2 of these episodes. Red Dead Redemption is a game that I'm also going to continue. Don't think that I abandoned it. And Tomb Raider, because that new one is coming out, and I do want to play Tomb Raider. I know I started it a few times on this channel, but then I never finished it. The first time, no, actually I only started it once, and that was on when I was recording from my PS4. And during those times, I was just recording the video and not really going through the editor, because I wasn't playing on a PC, so I didn't have the editor to really upload, edit and string together all the episodes, not all the episodes, all the editing, cutting out parts that just shouldn't have been in there, that kind of stuff. I do have Titanfall 2, and I would like to revisit it again, because again, I have it, so I want to finish it, and I do want to do something like that. I feel like I've gone on a little bit too long here. I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this update, and give me some leeway and some kind of understanding, because that is always appreciated. Watching my videos in general is always appreciated. You guys are awesome. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful day, night, or evening wherever you're at. Take care. Peace.